All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive. Are you ready for this one?
I am ready to dive deep. Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. So today we are talking about the premiere episode of Territory, a brand new show from Netflix.
Yes.
It is a family drama set in the Australian outback. So we've got beautiful scenery and a whole lot of family secrets.
Oh, yeah. The scenery is incredible.
And the drama is just getting started because we've got a massive inheritance up for grabs.
Yeah.
And this family...
It always causes problems.
It does. It really
Yeah.
does. So to set the scene, we start off with the death of the 12th Duke of Halstead.
Right out of the gate.
And this guy has two sons. And his eldest son, Freddie, he seems like the obvious heir.
I think most people would assume that, yeah.
Right. Like he's got that kind of polished, private school kind of background. You think he would be the one to take over?
Yeah, he seems like he'd be more comfortable in a boardroom than, out in the fields.
Totally. And he's got that air of entitlement.
Yeah.
But instead, the Duke leaves everything to his younger son.
To Petty?
To Eddie, yeah. And Ed is a bit of a wild card. He's much more laid back, kind of a free spirit.
And this is where that cannabis business comes in. Because Eddie has been running this cannabis empire.
I mean, that's not what you would expect.
No, not at all.
To be part of this, old money inheritance.
Yeah.
But there it is. But what did you think about the Duke's decision? I mean, was this a calculated move?
I think it definitely raises questions. Was he trying to shake things up? Maybe
Right.
he saw something in Eddie that Freddie lacked.
Right.
Or maybe there's something more to it that we haven't seen yet. I mean, this is just the first episode, so who knows?
Exactly. And then we've got Freddie, who's got his own issues to deal with. He's struggling with a pretty serious cocaine addiction.
And he owes money to some dangerous people.
Oh, yeah, and those guys do not look like they mess around.
Not at all. So that's going to come back to bite him at some point.
Oh, absolutely. So we've got all that bring, but then we also get to meet the Lawsons. Now, this is where the real heart of the show lies.
Yeah, they're the ones running Marianne Station, which is this enormous cattle ranch. We're talking the biggest in Australia.
5 generations of Lawsons have been working this land.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a legacy.
It's more than just land to them. It's their history, their identity. And I think that's really important to understand as we see how they react to everything that's happening.
Definitely. And we've got a whole cast of characters here. First, we meet Daniel.
He seemed like the responsible one, trying to keep the peace. And he's the one who brought in Nolan, this ambitious young drover, to help with the muster.
Yeah.
Which is this massive undertaking where they have to round up all the cattle.
It's pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. It's like a huge, test of skill and endurance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But then there's Colin.
Mm-hmm.
He's the patriarch of the family.
Yeah.
And he is...
stubborn as an ox.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it. He's got that old school mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not afraid to let you know what he's thinking.
No filter whatsoever.
None. And then there's Graham. He's the older brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he's clearly battling some demons.
You can tell he's got a lot of pain in his past. And he's trying to numb it, with alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, you see that he's struggling. And then there's Emily. She's Graham's second wife.
And she's tough. I mean, she can handle anything. She's not afraid to stand up to Colin, even when he's being completely unreasonable.
Oh, she does not back down.
No way.
Which I love. But what did you think of that whole dynamic? Who do you think has the real power in this family?
Well, it's interesting because on the surface, it seems like it should be Colin. I mean, he's the patriarch.
Right.
But I think Emily's got a quiet strength. And she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. I'm really curious to see how those two butt heads as the show goes on.
Totally. And then things get really interesting when Daniel disappears during the muster.
Yeah, that's a huge turning point.
Everybody's out looking for him.
Mm.
And the tension is just building and building.
And Emily takes charge. She's the one who organizes the search parties.
She's the one who's keeping everybody calm.
Which is not an easy feat, especially with Colin breathing down her neck the whole time.
Yeah, he's not making it easy on her. And then, of course, we find out what happened to Daniel. And it's
brutal. He falls from his horse, breaks his leg, and then gets attacked by dingoes.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I had to look away from the screen for a minute. It was pretty intense.
It was. And, it's a tragedy, but it also really exposes the fault lines in the family.
Oh, absolutely. Because Colin immediately blames Graham.
Yeah, he's convinced that Graham had something to do with it. And
Yeah.
that just throws fuel on the fire of their already strained relationship.
Right. There's clearly some bad blood there.
Yeah.
And you can tell that Emily is trying to hold everything together. But it's like a house of cards ready to collapse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can feel the tension in every scene.
And then, just when you think things can't get any more complicated, we get introduced to Marshall.
Graham's estranged son.
Yeah, who's been living this totally different life. He's a scammer. He runs with a group of, like, petty criminals.
And they're not very good at it either.
No, they are not.
Yeah.
But he's got this charm about him, even though he's clearly up to no good.
Hmm.
And when he hears about his uncle's death, he sees an opportunity.
Yeah, a chance to make some quick cash. But I think there's also more to it than that. I think he's drawn back to the family, even if he doesn't want to admit it.
Right. There's definitely some unresolved stuff there. And then we meet Susie.
Graham's daughter from his second marriage.
Right. And she's got her own drama going on. She's dropped out of college to work on the ranch.
Which her mom is not happy about.
Not at all. And Colin is not exactly welcoming to Susie.
No, he's got a real chip on his shoulder about Emily and her kids. Like, he sees them as outsiders.
Yeah.
Threats to the family legacy.
Oh, absolutely. And that tension just adds another layer to everything that's going on. So we've got all this going on, and then Colin throws another wrench in the works.
By refusing to honor Daniel's promise to Nolan.
Right. Like Daniel had promised Nolan a share of the breeding cows.
And a decent payment for his work on the muster, which, let's be honest, was incredibly dangerous and demanding.
Definitely. And Nolan had really earned it.
Yeah, he'd proven himself. But Colin just dismisses it all, says he never agreed to any of it. And he accuses Emily's family of stealing cattle.
Which was just
Explosive. I mean, that's a serious accusation. And whether it's true or not, it just shows how deep the distrust runs in this family.
That's like a powder keg waiting to explode.
Exactly. And then just when you think things couldn't get any more dramatic,
Marshall shows up.
with his friends.
Like a whole crew of, like, misfits.
Ready to cause trouble.
But then instead of trying to con the family or anything like that.
He has this really sweet reunion with Susie.
Yeah, Emily.
It was kind of heartwarming. And it made me wonder, is there more to Marshall than we initially thought?
Right. Like, is he capable of change? Or is he just playing everyone?
Great question. So with all these simmering tensions, hidden agendas, and the weight of this family legacy on his shoulders, what do you think is going to be Eddie's biggest challenge as he steps into this new role?
I mean, it feels like he's got a lot to handle. Not just the business side of things, but also all the family drama.
Oh, yeah, he's inheriting a whole lot more than just land and money. He's inheriting generations of conflict and secrets. And then there's his brother,
Freddie. Yeah.
who's clearly not going to go down without a fight.
And those debts that Freddie's racked up.
Those are definitely going to come back to haunt him. And the fallout from Daniel's death is far from over. Colin's not going to let that go anytime soon.
I'm already on the edge of my seat waiting to see what happens next.
This premiere episode was a roller coaster. It set the stage for what I think is going to be an incredibly captivating story. We've got family feuds, secrets, and lies, and this clash between the old world and the new.
And not to mention the gorgeous Australian outback is the backdrop for all of it.
It's more than just a family drama. It's a glimpse into a way of life where tradition clashes with modernity and ambition collides with loyalty.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into the premiere episode of Territory.
Be sure to check it out and let us know what you think.
We'll be back soon to break down the next episode. See you then.
See you then.